Do what it do. Let it do what it do. Down.
On Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
My man Rick Brown, the reporter from Lakeland. What's up, sir?
Sensei Clayton, it is so beautiful to have you here this Wednesday after evening, night, day, noon. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. What's happening, my brother?
You the man, always with the plan. Always. Man, we're in the middle of our favorite time of the year. You still doing good?
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee, man. Man, what a weekend. Oh my goodness, what a weekend. I couldn't get away from the screen. I tried to leave, but it kept pulling me back. It kept pulling me back for more. The men, the women. What a wonderful, wonderful tournament. I'm loving it.
I'm loving it, except in my family bracket. We do a family bracket every year. This year we added the women. And Mickey Clayton, the coach, dead last in both brackets. Dead last. I can't pick a. I always start picking the long shots, and I'll never hit the right long shots. Never, ever hit the long shot. Well, man,
I'm afraid to ask, who's winning? Who's winning? Who's in the lead of the bracket so far?
Well, like I said, in the women's bracket, it's the baby girl, Malala. Squirt rolling with that one. In the men, KK, Jeremiah's mom, she's winning.
Okay, KK, do it.
She probably got Jeremiah helping her out.
Well, we know this, coach. We know this.
I started to let him pick his own bracket.
Next year he'll be ready.
What do you say? Next year?
Next year he'll be ready because he's said he's just getting all the kinks and stuff out right now. But yeah, he'll be ready next year.
Said he'll be ready next year.
Oh, most.
Oh man, I see. Sports diva. Everybody bracket busted on the men's side. Well, one thing for sure on the doggone women's side, those it's kind of staying true to form. All the 1 seeds still in it, 13 of the top 16 seeds still in it. So on the women's bracket, if you kind of follow the favorites, you doing okay there.
Why do you think that's the case, coach? Because usually in the women's bracket, almost every year, a 1 or 2 seed is always in the finals, and they always play each other. Is it the not diversity, but lack of come on, journalists, talk. Hold on.
I think it's yeah, you get in that cup, something will be missing.
Yeah, there we go.
But one of the things is, as we've talked about, all years, the fact that they've maintained a lot of the stars. And those stars have been pretty consistent in leading their teams. And when a school comes along with some outstanding freshmen, which we got a segment on it in the women about some of the outstanding freshmen, they're getting in the mix too. But it's hard to dethrone some of those reigning teams with that experience they had. Even though I think some of the women's teams, like Iowa, struggled a little bit, LSU struggled a little bit, and man, South Carolina just blowing everybody out. So I don't even know if that's good or bad that they're having that type of success.
And whereas in the men, they don't stay as long, so the the mid-major teams, and we spoke about this a little bit last week, they have older, more experienced players, which probably help in the long run, especially if they
Yeah,
can keep it close.
you made a real good comment about those 5th, 6th-year players that are playing, with some of the mid-major teams that didn't leave, and the continuity that they have in that program from being able to be together.
And I would think it helps as a coach. You would love that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, you don't have to rebuild your team every year. But Sports Diva said they working to make sure Iowa gonna be in. I said, yeah, well, there was a wide disparity in free throws, but one difference was Iowa was getting to the line a little bit. So there's a lot of interesting stories coming up this week. But before we get all the way into basketball, I got something I want to show you. And I know it when I saw it, it made a little bit of sense, but I appreciate it being sent out to me when we were having some discussions with some of the guys.
Yard line. The receiving team will be lined up on the receiving team's 35-yard line. The only people who won't be on the 35 or the 40 are the kicker and the returner. The returner will be back near the goal line, wherever returners go. Kicker will be back at his own 30-yard line, where he will be kicking the ball. Those are the only two people who can move before the kick. Once the kick happens, the kicking team's tacklers, the coverage team, cannot go for the returner until he catches the ball or until the ball bounces inside the 20-yard line. Then you're also introducing 3 kind of touchback options. If the ball does not make it to the receiving team's 20-yard line, it is considered out of bounds. The receiving team gets it at the 40-yard line. If the ball is kicked into the end zone on the fly or out of the end zone, you get a touchback, but you get it at the 35-yard line. And then finally, if the ball lands inside the receiving team's 20-yard line, rolls into the end zone, you get a touchback, but at the 20-yard line. And then finally, the onside kick will effectively be going away unless you are trailing in the 4th quarter. And the only way you can do it is you have to let the officials know you're going to attempt an onside kick, and then the other team will know that you are attempting an onside kick. So there are no more surprise onside kicks.
Now that part right there, that and it's straight from the XFL. Now, did you really understand what they were saying?
I did, and I hate myself for it because I don't like it. I want you to kick it off, and I want you to kick off, move the kickoff back. But I know what they're doing. This is for safety reasons. This is for lawsuit reasons. This is for reasons down the line where people get hurt and concussions and all of that. I understand that. But football, remember back in the day, they used to do segments on the hardest hits, and they used to do old VHS tapes on hardest hits and smashes, and well, that's gone out the window now.
Hey,
I don't like it.
Sports Diva said, "Seem like grown men will be playing a form of powder puff."
Put the flags on them. That's what everybody's saying. Put the flags on them, just like in the All-Star, the Pro Bowl. Let's play some 707 flag football.
Now there were a lot of people who said the same. They said the same thing you did. Why didn't you just back up the kickoff point? Take it back 10 yards, 15 yards. There's some things to be said about having a sport that is very traditional. Little tweaks here and there. Football keeps changing. They needed more offense, so they kept, favoring the offense and what the defense can and can't do. Same thing they've done in basketball. Offense sells, so a lot of the players now couldn't have played back in the day, with the Pistons and the Bad Boys and some of that. They wouldn't have been able to man up through that. So it's just a difference. But football, it's a grown man's game. And I understand the safety issues. I do. It's a violent sport that you pick to play.
Don't play. If you're scared, don't play. If you're scared, get a dog.
Listen to
football.
it. Don't play.
Saying, Coach. Just saying, man. sad. That's one rule change I was very disappointed to hear.
Yeah. And I can completely understand that, especially when I saw what it was changed to, and then trying to understand what in the heck was going on with that rule. That's what even made it more difficult to understand. I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, what I just saw made it a lot more understandable, but and it did. But prior to that, I was having some issues with it. Okay, some of the comments from last week's show, and we got a lot of them. But they sent something for John Calipairi. He said, Calipairi said we were prepared. It was just that some of our players didn't play up to their potential. Okay, John. Okay. The madness began. Dayton, Kentucky bows out. They said, Coach, you mentioned Oakland's coach and his long tenure might be a problem for Kentucky. And what do you know? Oakland's coach presented a problem for him, and they're en route home, and they said a lot of tickets were available in Pittsburgh. I also have to say, my home people from Ohio absolutely blistered me. You know, they're all Ohio. But they said, must have forgot I was from Cleveland. They said Ohio State won the Big Ten, not Iowa. Ohio State beat Iowa. And they said we didn't give them the credit and justice they would do. And they were probably right, because I should have said something last week, because they're out of it now.
Yeah.
They said, nice show, Mickey. Say y'all had been doing the vertical wave 25 years ago. Is that the year we played at Ohio State? I need to check and see. And a nice pick, Rick. Juju can flat go. She took it to Ohio State early in the season. And another one, by the way, you didn't mention the Lady Buckeyes. They had an outstanding season. And then they want to know, who is the sexy voice on the reporter? Oh. Oh, boy. Then somebody sent me a picture of Jank the barbecue sauce. Jank barbecue sauce said they ordered some. I said, let me know how you like it. I said, I guarantee you'll like it.
Well, then that's not a Barkley guarantee, is it? I guarantee.
Oh, I'm not even worried. If you get some of that Jank, you're going to like it, boy. You'll love it. And somebody else, Doc, I appreciate you. Said you are absolutely correct. When an HBCU team succeeds, it brings recognition to all black schools. Florida Gulf Coast, for example, is considered a minority school, and its success brings recognition to minorities. South Carolina is one of the mixed women's teams, and its successes should be noted as an exemplar when color prejudice are set aside. As in sports, why can't we do the same thing in our daily lives? Nice acknowledgement of Cheryl Miller. Good to see the women recognized in sports. It's another good example of episodes. They say we always learn something from your episodes from the show. So appreciate it. That we got a lot of love from last week's show on March Madness. Thank y'all.
Lovely. Thank you all.
Somebody said, thank you, right, Rick. They said y'all did a real good job in analyzing it and going in depth. They said Mick and Rick did a real credible job. So thank you all. And continuing on that, straight from
after the dust settled from the first weekend of the NCAA men's tournament, we have 16 teams that all have their eyes on making it to Glendale, Arizona, and the Final Four. But they have to make it past this weekend first. Let's take a look at the squads. In the East region, defending national champions and number 1 UConn still on a mission after wins over Stetson and Northwestern. Things will get tougher as the Huskies try to be the first back-to-back national champions since the Florida Gators in 2006 and 2007. Number 2, Iowa State. The Cyclones have been up and down offensively in the tournament. They hit their first 9 shots in the opening round against South Dakota State, but missed their first 10 shots against Washington State. Their defense has not been lacking, however. For number 3, Illinois, it's been an easy run for the Fighting Illini, facing and beating teams ranked no higher than 11th in the first 2 games. The cakewalk is now over, but Illinois, making its first Sweet 16 appearance in 19 years, is playing with house money. For the Aztecs of San Diego State, ranked number 5, they were last year's tournament darlings, and they haven't snuck up on anyone this year. That's fine with them. But after slipping by number 12 UAB by 4 in the opener and crushing number 13 Yale by 28, they now get a rematch from last year's NCAA title game. Players to watch. For UConn, sophomore center Donovan Clingan, at 7'2" and 280 pounds, he's dominated on both ends of the court during this tournament. Iowa State's sophomore point guard Tamin Lipsey is second on the team in scoring and leads the team in assists and steals. Illinois' Marcus Domask, he does whatever it takes. He had a triple-double in the first game, 22 points, and 7 assists in the round of 32. San Diego State's Jadon Ledee, after scoring 32 points in the tourney opener, he is averaging 28 points and is shooting 20 of 30 from the field. This week's matchups in the region. Number 1 UConn versus number 5 San Diego State. Again, a rematch of last year's title game. Repeat versus revenge. The Aztecs have a puncher's chance, but we'll see. The second matchup features number 2 Iowa State and number 3 Illinois. This will be a fun game with 2 defensive-minded teams that both love to run. We'll see how it pans out.
Time is running out on a great opportunity to secure premium content on our INSiiGHTS Roku channel and INSiiGHTS mobile app. Get your free download to get your INSiiGHTS premium content free, forever. Hurry.
Hurry.
Good piece there, Rick. Good piece. Good piece.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty now, Coach. I mean, there's no Cinderellas now. It's ballers, and teams are going to have to play to win, to advance.
Absolutely. Here we go with the South region.
Turning to the South region, number 1 ranked Cougars blew out number 16 Longwood in the opener before surviving against the number 5 Texas A&M Aggies in overtime. In fact, 2 of the last 3 games Houston has played has been shaky. Are they primed for a Duke takeover? For number 2 Marquette, the bracket is falling perfect for the Golden Eagles, playing double-digit seeds in their first 3 games. Still, number 10 Colorado gave them all they could handle in Sunday's 81-77 Marquette win. And the upcoming Sweet 16 battle against the number 11 Pack is likely to be another tough one. For number 4 Duke, the Blue Devils have gotten over their ACC tournament disappointment and have been tearing up opponents in the NCAA tourney. They won their first 2 games by a margin of 27.5 points. Are they tough enough to spar with the Cougars? For number 11 NC State, the magical ride continues for the Wolfpack. After shocking everyone with 5 wins in the ACC tournament, NC State is still finding ways to win, first taking down number 6 Texas Tech, then stopping the Cinderella story of Oakland. Do the Wolfpack have anything left? Players to watch. For Houston, senior guard Jamal Sheed was a Big 12 Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. As he goes, the Cougars go. For Marquette, Tyler Kolek is the first player with 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in back-to-back NC tourney games since Jason Kidd in 1993. Kolak is averaging 11 assists this tournament. For the Blue Devils, sophomore center Tyler Filipowski was named second-team All-American. Think Christian Laettner. He can impact the game on both ends. His energy gets the Blue Devils pumped. For NC State, DJ Burns, don't let the look fool you. Burns is a talented big man who is light on his feet like Hakeem Olajuwon used to do in the pros. For our matchups, number 1 Houston versus number 4 Duke. 2 heavyweights going toe-to-toe. Houston has looked beatable lately. Will the Cougars be able to contain the firepower of Duke? Number 2 Marquette versus number 11 NC State. This will be a close one, with each team trying to impose their will on the other. NC State will pound it inside. Marquette will try to get into its transition game. The winners face off for a battle for a trip to Arizona.
Try our INSiiGHTS mobile apps and have your own personalized content experience with our exclusive content. We developed an interactive experience as easy and diversified as Netflix. You have exclusive features showing access premium features, behind-the-scenes content and programs only available on our mobile apps and our streaming Roku channel. INSiiGHTS apps give you our content in your hands while INSiiGHTS Roku is on your big screen. Locally owned. Globally known. INSiiGHTS.
Join us on Faith TV on INSiiGHTS Roku. Anytime you need to feel the word, that you need uplifting, go to INSiiGHTS YouTube or mobile apps and feel His Spirit lift yours up. Pray with us on Faith TV and allow His Spirit to comfort you. I have been sent to help you find your way. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Faith TV on INSiiGHTS.
Time out. Time out. This is the coach. I'm a part of the INSiiGHTS Mick and Rick show. Now when I can get Rick out of that cup, I get good discussion from him about the hottest sports topics. But we do keep it straight, no chaser. The more he turns that cup up, them words come out faster than a chicken pecking up corn. I'm just saying, or trying to say, what the damn hell? Just join us on the Mick and Rick show.
For a limited time only, the first 500 downloads of the INSiiGHTS app will get free premium content for life. Watch the Mick and Rick show, Black History Moments, Remembering the Legends, INSiiGHTS Magazine, Faith TV, along with the Game of the Week series. See INSiiGHTS creative content with skits from the Church Sisters, students in generations and more. The INSiiGHTS app.
In the Midwest region, number 1 Purdue hasn't broken much of a sweat in their 2 wins, winning by 28 over number 16 Grambling and by 39 over number 8 Utah State. Now the real tests begin. Number 2 Tennessee. They played evil stepmom with number 15 St. Peter's and then toughed out a gutsy 62-58 win over number 7 Texas. Are they ready for another tough battle? Number 3 Creighton breezed by number 14 Akron before slugging it out against number 11 Oregon, going into double overtime in what has been the game of the tournament thus far. Number 5 Gonzaga has shown their demise has been greatly exaggerated, beating number 12 McNeese State by 21, then equaling the margin of victory in a beatdown of number 4 Kansas. The players to watch in this region? For Purdue, center Zach Edey is doing what a future NBA big man should, dominate. He went for 30 and 21 boards against the Tigers before putting in 23 and 14 against Utah State. Tennessee All-American and SEC Player of the Year Dalton Neck is averaging a solid 20.5 points in his first 2 games. He will either have to have more help or do a little bit more against the Blue Jays in the Sweet 16. Creighton Big East Defensive Player of the Year Ryan Kalkbrenner has been scoring in this tournament, averaging 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 blocks per game. Gonzaga redshirt freshman 6'10" big man Braden Huff comes off the bench, but if he plays defense against Edey like he did in the second half against Kansas, the Zags' run may not be over. In our matchups, number 1 Purdue versus number 5 Gonzaga. This matchup is better now with the way the Zags have played their first 2 games. They have a solid shot, but Purdue is still the favorite. Number 2 Tennessee versus number 3 Creighton. 2 tough-nosed teams that will play here. This sets up like a heavyweight fight, and it may take until the last round to decide who's standing. Again, the winners face off for a chance for a trip to Glendale, Arizona. Yes, y'all. In the West region, number 1 North Carolina has done what they're supposed to do, winning a laugher against number 16 Wagner and outclassing number 9 Michigan State by 16 points. For number 2 Arizona, the road to Glendale is close after solid wins against number 15 Long Beach State and number 7 Dayton. Number 4 Alabama, the Crimson Tide wants to run, but showed they can win without scoring 90 points after beating number 12 Grand Canyon 72-61. For number 6 Clemson, the Tigers seem to be that team no one really wants to face. They waltzed past number 11 New Mexico in the opener before out-toughing a rugged number 3 Baylor squad 72-64. The players to watch for North Carolina, Armando Bacot is the heart and soul of this squad. His physicality sets the tone and allows the shooters to do what they do. Arizona Pac-12 Player of the Year Caleb Love hasn't scored 20 points in 6 straight games after doing so 14 times this season. Time for the UNC transfer to shine. Alabama's Mark Sears can score, averaging 28 points in 2 NCAA tourney games. But it was his all-around game, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals against Grand Canyon. That's the type of game they need from him moving forward. Clemson's Chase Hunter is averaging 20.5 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals to pace a balanced Tiger squad. In our matchups, number 1 North Carolina versus number 4 Alabama. The complete team against the team on caffeine. Alabama is known for scoring, but it's the Tar Heels averaging 87.5 points in this tournament. Should be a fun one. Alabama did score 109 in its opener against the College of Charleston, allowed 96 though. Mark Sears is going to have to play big again if the Crimson Tide are going to have a shot against North Carolina. Number 2 Arizona versus number 6 Clemson. Clemson played solid and beat New Mexico, then withstood a serious Baylor rally to get by the Bears. They will be making just their second Sweet 16 appearance since 1997. Arizona is making their second Sweet 16 appearance in the last 3 years. After losing early to number 15 Princeton last year, the Wildcats are on a mission to reach the Final Four, which we all know will be played in Glendale, Arizona.
Than anywhere else. But if you come here for, what are you thinking about? We have guys in the NBA, 14 guys on second deals, max deals. We have guys that have made over $4 billion right now, and guys haven't gotten their second deal yet. Bam, Devin, those would be third deals, I guess. You got Shea, who may make $400 million. You got Maxey, he hadn't gotten his thing yet. De'Aaron Fox is getting another deal. I may be missing guys. It may be $6 billion. You come here to prepare yourself for the rest of your life, and it is not going to be easy. And you're not going to be guaranteed anything. Oh, you start, and I'll run every play for you, and you'll shoot 20 balls again. No.
You don't tell them that, Cal.
In here and fight. You got to fight. And you got to take what you want, and you got to carve your way out. You ready for this? And you got to be a great teammate. You learn to be a great, you got to share. You can't be, it's not about you. And you go to that league, and you're a bad teammate, you'll get traded. They don't want you in here. Pat Riley said the best thing I can say about your guys in the league, they're all great teammates. And that made me feel great. And it's, it's not anything I've done. Some of it's been their parents, how they were raised. Others have been, you got no choice here than anywhere else. But if you come here for, what are you thinking about? We have guys in the NBA, 14 guys on second deals, max deals. We have guys that have made over $4 billion right now. And guys haven't gotten their second deal yet. Bam.
Calipairi said, y'all doing all that talking about us losing. We preparing these guys. So it was an interesting one on the Jim Rome show.
Yeah. I mean, he makes a good point there. I mean, he is one of the kings of the one and dones, and his players do have success at the next level. Cannot argue that fact. But for college basketball fans, they are almost like one and done there as well, because they get that first round and they get bounced like the basketball they're talking about.
They say one and done at the NCAA tournament, one and done at their host institution. I like that. Fact. You got a good one there. You got a good one there. I like that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, let's see what we got.
It's the women time.
This is Rosa from INSiiGHTS. 3 of the top names in college basketball are in the women's game: Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Bueckers. Clark drew record crowds and ratings all season long. Reese continues to lead LSU to a national championship. Bueckers is looking like an All-American again. Freshman Juju Watkins and Hannah Hidalgo are growing the women's game, too. In the women's game, all 4 number 1 seeds have advanced. Will Dawn Staley lead the undefeated Gamecocks back to the Final Four? Will Caitlin Clark see a rematch with Iowa? The show continues.
They keep encouraging us, no matter what, like, just play us. Like, no matter what, just keep playing our game, no matter if we're freshmen or not.
I think this team, we do a great job of just playing for each other. I think we don't play for the fans and all the other extra stuff. I think everything we do out there on the court is for each other. So.
What does it feel like going to the Sweet 16? Not everybody gets this chance.
Tessa?
I mean, growing up, I was always like, wow, I want to play in that NCAA tournament. So being here, like, it's amazing. I can't, like, express my feelings, but it's amazing.
Word for word.
Games going on and you're cooking. What's that feeling? What's going through your mind as you're having that much success?
Yeah. Sorry. Before every game, I just try to take a moment and I pray, and I am kind of seeking guidance from my father. He passed away when I was 16 in 2021. So I just try to kind of take a second and ground myself and tap into my spiritual side and just know that everything's going to be okay. And he's got the best seat in the house.
Nice advantage in the bucket.
And then for Maryland, you're going to try to score inside if they do it.
Crooks her second basket for the Terps. Crooks inside, give her 6. Cyclones back to work. Brenda Freese known as an outstanding recruiter, and that shot comes up well short. Yeah, Bill Finley actually handwrites his scout.
Finley Ryan's been doing a great job of trying to dribble and open things up, and Crooks can clean it up.
13-5 already. Louisville's no longer playing in the tournament.
That's right. TSU, Middle Tennessee State, the big upset win today, down 18.
Crooks is going to force it.
The most unexpected things can happen in March. Emily Ryan trying to do what she can to keep her team alive. And Crooks came. Man, Big Ten was incredibly tough this year as Crooks gets that position inside.
10 to shoot. Crooks bang down low and connects regardless. No whistle, and now with 22. Kelsey Jones has been a bigger factor in this third quarter.
We've heard that last name a time or two.
Crooks inside. In the second, the Terps have yet to connect.
No offside help on her post. How they have her posted up. They can just lob over the top.
And then a chance for 3. Crooks with possession.
Push that away. Too small.
29.
That's wearing to hold your position. So if Maryland can continue to throw fresh bodies at her, make her out of position. But
currently lead by 4.
Freshman.
Crooks position again.
3 of them.
33 on the board for 55 in white. Don't call that foul on the floor. No free throws for Crooks. That's the 4th on Brown.
Get out the way.
Crooks position again. 35.
Move, little girl.
Spark for her team. The shot clock at 15. Ryan to Crooks. Hanging down low. 37 on the
defender off as well.
Jones thought about it. Works it inside to Crooks. Number 55 with 39 tonight.
The NCAA tournament, whether the men or women's side, has a habit of creating overnight stars with a single game or moment during a previously little-known person, turning a previously little-known person into a figure of intense and passionate national interest. The Iowa State women's basketball program has a player like that on its hand in Artie Crooks. She was the Cyclones' best, most productive player for most of the season, but whatever amount of fame she previously had skyrocketed on the first day of the 24 tournament. Crooks was unstoppable in a first-round matchup against number 10 seed Maryland, putting up the kind of stat line seldom seen at any level of organized basketball. Not only did she finish with 40 of her career high points, she made an astonishing 18 of 20 shots, which means she only missed 2, to lead her team back from a 20-point deficit to defeat the Terrapins 93-85 and advance to play the number 1 host, Stanford, on Sunday. Crooks introduced herself to much of the country on Friday, but she was the Iowa State led the team in scoring, averaging 19.5 points a game. The freshman finished second in rebounding at 7.8, and she's still shooting nearly 60% from the field. She's listed as 6'3", although they have a junior on the team, Isnael Nadabu, who's 6'5". Artie is only 19 years old. Her dad played basketball as well, former college basketball player, but he died at an early age when Artie was only 16. They lost in overtime to Stanford, which would have been the only number 1 seed not to make it. Iowa State took them to the mat. They lost in overtime in an outstanding game that went back and forth. Artie stayed in foul trouble most of that game, fouled out in overtime and changed the outcome. But Iowa State's Artie Crooks has made a name for herself, and she's another one in a long list of budding stars in women's basketball that people will continue to watch.
Was that first half the best you've seen this team play all year? And if not, does anything else come to mind you could even compare it to?
I don't know. We haven't played like that in a super long time. And we actually were talking about that in the coaches' locker room. Like, we haven't played well all together. Like, every single one of our players made an impact coming into the game. And we needed a performance like this. And hopefully this playing this good of a basketball can be contagious throughout the rest of the way. I thought we did a great job of just being aggressive on both sides of the basketball, just locking in to make sure that this wouldn't be our last game.
Caitlin Clark and Ice Cube, the collaboration you didn't know you wanted. It could happen, but not in the recording studio. Ice Cube and his Big Three basketball league have offered Iowa's Caitlin Clark a landmark contract to play in their 3-on-3 league. According to TMZ, the deal is for $5 million for 10 total games. Naturally, she could make even more money from endorsements and merchandising. $5 million is quite a bit more than she would make in the WNBA, where the yearly players' salaries don't typically rise above $300,000. If Clark took this contract and became the highest paid women's basketball player ever, Ice Cube said that she would still be able to play in the WNBA. He sees the Big Three as an alternative to the practice of WNBA players going overseas to play during the offseason. Money continues to fall. You can't be mad about it. We'll see what happens.
Utah women's team filed a police report from NCAA first round in Spokane, Washington, which is about 30 miles away. Members of the University of Utah women's team told police someone in a truck displaying a Confederate flag yelled racial slurs and revved the engine in a menacing way as players and staff walked to dinner. They say that same truck and second were waiting as the team returned from dinner and followed them back to their hotel. I will never forget the sound that I heard, the intimidation of the noise that came from that engine, and the N-word, Green told KSL. The incident occurred in a part of the Pacific Northwest that was once synonymous with hate groups and has seen a rise in extremism even among its elected officials. Coeur d'Alene and northern Idaho became known as a haven for extremism and racist groups back to the 1970s when the Aryan nations relocated there. Skinheads held parades in the INSiiGHTS.
Yes, sir. That was one of the stories that there were many of them, but those were one of the stories that were prevalent. The NCAA women's side, they had them staying in hotels 30 miles, 40 miles out of town in a different state from where the game was being played. They had another school that was there too that actually they moved both schools. And the significant thing about it was, them in the truck with a Confederate flag and revving the engine. I guess like they were going to run them over, calling them the N-words and yelling at them. And then by the time they came out for dinner, another truck had joined forces with them. So it was two trucks. And they had a little fear for their safety. So even in this day and age, it's always the reality that you have to always be vigilant. And you have to teach your children and grandchildren to be vigilant and to not take their safety for granted and always be aware of surroundings and what's going on.
Indeed, and that's sad. That's sad. That's real sad. But what do you think, changing gears, and don't want to overlook that part because that is what you just said. That's a good message for everyone to hear. What do you think? $5 million for Caitlin for the Big Three? Do you think that's a good move for her and women's basketball in general?
Well, right now it's not even about her, about women's basketball in general. The average person, the average WNBA player makes 25% of that. So you tell me, what would you tell your daughter?
Well, I couldn't tell her not to take that. I mean, but would they have a separate? Would she be playing against the men with 3-on-3? And
That's what the 3-on-3 is, Rick. It's not a. I mean, it would
yeah,
then be a co-ed league, and she would, and they trying to bank off her name.
would they open it up for others, or these are just questions that we have. I don't know. Interesting. But she's a gunner. She's a player. There's no doubt about it. Girl can.
Well, they would make that money back. They would make that money back with people watching the league and to see her play, and particularly if it's not during the WNBA season, as opposed to going overseas and trying to make money like most of them do. And it's only for 10 games. They're already saying that she probably won't do it. They're already saying she probably won't do it, but it did what it was supposed to for Ice Cube, who's been fighting his own battle with the NBA and trying to be able to put this on and fighting those who don't want him or want his league to be successful. I just think it's a really good move for his league. And it's coming at a time when people really don't have that much to watch or do anyway. So I just think it's a good thing that they have going on and to be able to do that. But that's my feeling on it.
Mm-hmm. And
You know,
South
so
Carolina.
I'm trying to see, what is this? Sports Diva said 3-on-3 has a lot of used to be players.
It's true.
Yeah. They're trying to find a way to still make some money. Yeah, that's a valid point. Trying to find a way to get paid. Some of them are long past their prime. More than a meal or two. Way past the prime. Yeah. They're way past the prime.
I appreciate it, Coach, and of course, I always thank Insights for covering high school sports. You all kind of open that door for high school sports to be viewed by those on the outside. And I know football is doing more now. I mean, I think one of the stations are doing high school football. But you guys are the ones that kind of help open that door for high school basketball to be shown. I know you've been doing it for some time, but we appreciate your support.
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you. We appreciate you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting ready to tip off again. The basketball, by the time we get to next week, it'll all be on the Final Four and the teams that are there. And we'll look for some more interest in basketball. And, don't sleep on the women's games now. Don't sleep on them. There's some good games and a lot of emotion going on. And, LSU was on the ropes for a minute. It was the only team that hadn't been threatened. The Gamecocks. Dawn Staley has them primed now. It means nothing that they've gone through like they have. It means nothing. So all it takes is one bad night and somebody else to have a good night, and it's over with. We'll see you next week. We'll give you an update again. Let you know what's going on with the Final Four. Rick, good job. We appreciate you as always. And get ready for the enjoy the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, and then it'll be the Final Four.
Your attention, please. Stay up to date with the latest from Insights. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
Insights is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on Insights represent their independent thoughts and representation.
Download your mobile app. Get a chance to see it live in your hands. See the plan, see the man, Rick the reporter from Lakeland. All right, everybody, we appreciate you.